Eruvin Daf Ches. I just came back from the worldwide Siyum on Masechta Shabbos. What an incredible event. Hundreds of different people from different locations. I have to give a tremendous akarzatayv to each and every one of you, especially to the hosts of the real major Siyumim, the ones that had over 50 people in New York, in Flatbush, in Baltimore, in Muncie, in Lakewood, Manchester, and I hope I'm not missing others. RBS, over 50 people. So tremendous Yishur Kayach. We should go Michael Chayil and go to the next Masechta. It is after 2 a.m. in the morning, but the daf must go on. We had a case yesterday where a mavoi opens up into a hatzer. It breached into a hatzer, and the hatzer breaches into a Rishus Rabbim, and the Gemara Lamaskana says that there's no machlokes Rab and Shmuel. The Gemara Daf Ches discusses, but what is the Havamina? Where lays the machlokes? So Gemara says like this: if there was no eruv between the people of the hatzer and the mavoi, then you don't have to say that there was a breach into the Rishus Rabbim. And the machlokes is where when you're standing inside the mavoi, you don't notice that something's going on. The walls just continue, and there's no break or anything going into the hatzer. But when you stand in the hatzer, you look towards the mavoi, you notice that it becomes narrower, and to you it looks like a Pesach. It just looks like an opening, and that's the machlokes. According to Rav, you don't need an eruv, and according to Shmuel, you do need one. Now, if there is an eruv, so the machlokes is when it doesn't end up, the mavoi doesn't go into and dump off into the hatzer. If the mavoi has a long wall that goes all the way straight to the Rishus Rabbim, then according to everybody, that's mafulish. But when it dumps off into the middle of the hatzer, there's the machlokes. According to Shmuel, it's considered a closed mavoi, and according to Rav, it's considered mafulish, open to the Rishus Rabbim. Says Rabbo, even when it dumps off, it goes into the rechava. However, if the opening of the mavoi is directly across from the opening into the Rishus Rabbim, that would be a problem. So we're talking about that the opening of the Rishus Rabbim is set off somewhat. Says Rav Mesharishya, and even if it's set off, that's only okay when it's for the Rabbim, it's for the community. For instance, it's permitted to throw trash out of your window on Shabbos into the Rishus Rabbim if you're throwing it onto a pile of trash that's above 10 tefachim. And I'm not concerned perhaps somebody moved the pile of trash because it's owned, it's a pile of trash for the Rabbim. So too over here. But if it's owned, this mavoi is owned by an individual, a single person, we're concerned perhaps he'll fill in the gaps with houses. And then you'll have one long wall of a mavoi going all the way to the Rishus Rabbim, and that creates a mavoi mefulosh. The Gemara tells us that there's a story where there was a mavoi, that one side of the mavoi consisted of a pile of trash, and the other side of the mavoi consisted of an ocean. Rav did not feel comfortable saying that you're allowed to carry in this mavoi or that you're not allowed to carry in this mavoi. You're not. He said at the end of the day there's mechitzos here, so you can't say it's asur. But on the other hand, he can't say it's mutter. Maybe somebody will come along and take away the trash. What do Chacham hold? Chacham say that mavoi is asur. And some people say the Chacham said it's mutter, but Rav Nachman paskin against the Chacham. He said it's not the halacha. There was a mavoi in the city Surah that went all the way to the water. And Mereimar was concerned that a big wave will come and put a bunch of sand up until the shore, and he made a gzeira. He said you have to put azulai. It's like pieces of wood that have small holes in them. We use it as shade, as you see in the picture. To put something called a budya, it's a circle of some sort of material instead of a lechi. That doesn't work. According to Rav, you need a tzuras haPesach, so it certainly doesn't work. And according to Shmuel, you need a real lechi that's very strong. So if you take this piece, whatever it is, and you nail it into the wall, then it's strong enough, it's considered a lechi. The Gemara says, Rav's halacha cannot be learned from the case of a hatzer, a small hatzer that opens up into a large hatzer. In fact, it's very similar to our case. We have a mavoi that opens up into a large hatzer. The reason is, and over there we'll say that the small hatzer is asur because it's like an opening to the larger hatzer. Well, it's different because by the small hatzer and the large, we don't have a lot of people walking by, And that's why the larger hatzer is mutter, but in our case, perhaps, since so many people walk by, the hatzer, it should be asr, and therefore it comes to say the chiddush here. To learn it from the mission that says that if there's a hatzer that many people go through, it has a halacha versus ram for tumah. When it comes to tumah, the concern is whether you have people there or not. That's it. So if you have many people, then suffix tumah in Rosh Rabbim is tahar. On the other hand, it's a Rosh Hayachid when it comes to Shabbos, even though you have many people there. Well, you can't learn it from there, because I would say that that's dafka when the mavoi and the hatzer don't line up. The Rosh Rabbim, the holes, everything doesn't line up. It's zeh shalei keneged zeh, and therefore Rav comes and says, even when everything lines up and it looks like a mafulash, nevertheless, it's okay. A mavoi that looks like a centipede. You have a mavoi and you have all these smaller offshoots coming off of it. According to Abaya, you just do one Surah HaPesach for the large mavoi and many lechis for the smaller ones. According to Rava, he says even in Shmuel's city Narda, there were chayshish for Rav, and therefore every single one of those mavois requires its Surah HaPesach. However, the opening that goes to the Rosh Hashanah is enough with a lechi. What if you have a mavoi that has unequal sides? One side is longer than the other. Rava says that no matter what, you always put the kaira perpendicular to the mavoi, never on an angle. Why? Because a kaira acts as a heker, as a recognition that you're going in and out of the mavoi. If you do it at Bal Achsa, you put it on an angle, you won't have that recognition. Rav Kahana says, if the angle is more than 10 amos, then you need to put the kaira straight on the shorter end of the mavoi. In general, there's a machlokes. What is the halacha? Can you carry below the kaira? According to Rav, Reb Chia, and Reb Yochanan, it's permitted. According to Shmuel, Reb Shimon Berebi, and Rish Lakish, it's asur. So either the machlokes is whether or not a kaira is a heker or a mechitza, or everybody holds it's a heker, and the machlokes is that the ones that say that it's asur to carry below the kaira because the heker is for those inside, or perhaps machlokes is, do we say that the inner edge of the kaira comes down, pitikar yored v'soisen. Have a wonderful day.